Hello friends, it is Raina, the Halifax Mermaid, and I am so excited to be coming to you on YouTube with an update on everything that's been going on in my life since I made my last little update way back in January or December, I think it was. So basically, I took a hiatus from mermaiding for several months because I had a major surgery to help treat my endometriosis. I had a hysterectomy and I had excision surgery. So just a very quick little primer on what endometriosis is. It is when tissue similar to the lining of the uterus is growing outside of it and we don't know why. Everywhere that tissue grows, it corrupts what it is touching, the organs, the ligaments, the nerves, and it can appear in all kinds of different ways. So sometimes in the body it looks like this black bubbly substance, and that's sort of the part that's constantly bleeding. And then other times it looks like these ripples of white, almost like what you're seeing here on my beautiful backdrop of the ocean. So kind of like this white ripples through the red tissue, and that is scar tissue. And then other times it looks like this, but it's red spidering. And the reason I know what it looks like is because my surgeon actually took photos of it. So my surgery was pretty mind-blowing. One of my ovaries was so heavily damaged that it had to be removed, otherwise it would have gone septic. So I lost one ovary, I got to keep the other. The entire uterus was taken and the cervix was taken, because if you don't have a uterus anymore, you don't really need a cervix, and it's really just a cancer risk to keep the cervix. So that was taken, which means that they reconstruct that part of the body. It's like so major. And then they actually found endometriosis on my ureter, which is the little tube that goes from your kidney to your bladder. And this is very serious, and it can actually cause kidney failure. So the fact that they found it so quickly and they were able to address it so well just saved my life, basically, because if it went undetected, let's say I didn't get this surgery in time or just didn't have it at all, I would have eventually had kidney failure from this amount of endo that I had. So people don't think endometriosis is a fatal disease, and the disease on its own cannot threaten your life, but when it starts interacting with these important organ systems, it can actually threaten your life. And there have been people who have died as a secondary result of the complications caused by endometriosis. So ever since having this surgery, things have been really wild for me. I also got diagnosed formally with interstitial cystitis, which is a disease we believed I had, but now we have visual confirmation. And one of the big issues was that my uterus was completely fused to my bladder, and I have a picture of this. And if you are someone who is morbidly interested in this kind of thing, you can actually check it out on my Instagram. I have a censored post where you can swipe and see the uncensored photos. I'm not going to put it in the video because I don't want to trigger anybody or gross people out. But if you want to go see it, it's HFX Mermaid, my Instagram. I'll put a screenshot of the post here, and you can go looking for it and you can swipe through. But it was wild because my uterus and my bladder were completely fused together, and in order to remove the uterus, they had to dissect the two, and it really hurt my bladder. So the first few weeks of my healing was awful. I couldn't actually tell if there was any improvement from my disease, because I was in so much freaking pain from the surgery itself, and then they pump your body full of CO2 gas while they're doing the surgery, and they use twice the amount on me than they would normally use. And this is something that they do in order to make it easier to see what's going on in there and keep themselves from accidentally nicking something. So they got the majority of the endometriosis out that they could, but in order to have this surgery, you really need a specialist who is skilled. And in Nova Scotia, we only just recently got 2 specialists. For the longest time, we only had 1. And even though these 2 women are amazing, they're still not as skilled enough as some of these cases need them to be. So in my case, there was endometriosis left over on my bowels that they weren't able to safely remove. And maybe if I'd had this done, for instance, in New York with an amazing surgeon there who also uses robotics to assist, that might have been able to have been removed, but in my case it wasn't safely here. So that means that I am still taking hormone drugs. I used to take a hormone drug specifically for endometriosis, and it was very strong. It put me into medical menopause, which is not fun. It just basically slammed all of my female hormones down so that the disease wouldn't grow, because the disease feeds off estrogen and creates its own estrogen. It needs that estrogen to survive. So we didn't want to go that route and go on something super extreme because it would give me extreme side effects. So instead I'm taking a birth control, and actually, believe it or not, I'm having like no side effects from it, which is amazing. But I think it's hella ironic that I am taking a birth control and I don't even have a uterus. Like it's impossible for me to get pregnant and I have to take birth control, so I think that's really funny. The healing has been really good. The surgery was done laparoscopically, so I just had little 4 dots, incisions on my belly, and they're healing really well. And my quality of life, everybody, it's insane. It's better than it's ever been. It's wild. Now, the thing about this is that it could be like this for years, or it could be like this for months. There is no cure for endometriosis, and it typically grows back in most cases. That's why I'm taking this hormone drug, to try to keep it from growing back as fast. So some people get the surgery I have and they're good for the rest of their lives and they tolerate whatever symptoms and they're fine. Other friends I've had have had to have further surgeries. So we're trying really hard to manage this disease so that I don't have to have another surgery. So hopefully I won't have to. In terms of mermaiding, I finally got the clear to get back in the water. I wasn't allowed in the water for quite a while. I wasn't allowed to pick anything up. And I started off just doing a little tub shoot, which you can see a live video of that I did. And then also I just recently did a mermaid gig, which was really fun. It was for a return client that I've had for almost a decade. I did the eldest daughter's birthday 9 years ago, and now I've done the second youngest daughter's birthday. There's a little son who comes after that. So it was really great to just be back in the water. My day-to-day is just really shocking at how much better my quality of life is. I didn't realize how bad my pain was because it was all I knew, but it was like playing life on hard mode. And it just so happens that March is Endometriosis Awareness Month, and I have been posting a lot on my Instagram about it, so if you want to check it out to learn more, it's HFX Mermaid over on Instagram, and I hope you'll check that out and just maybe learn a bit about endometriosis. In Canada, 1 in 10 people with a uterus have it, and in Australia it's like 1 in 7, so it's pretty wild, and it can take on average 8 to 10 years to get diagnosed, so that's a little bit nuts. In terms of the rest of my life, I am just trying to get back into gigs. The local economy is terrible and it's really hard on my business right now. I'm going to do a different video about that because I want to get into it. And really, there's a lot of change with my local merfolk. Some people are moving away, some people are doing different jobs, some people are having babies. So that whole dynamic is really changing up, and we're trying to cram in some time with people before they move away. Our next big trip is, of course, California Mermaid Convention. It's going to be in May 2024. I'm really excited to get there and get going, see all my friends, go swimming. Maybe I'll see some of you there. And really, I've just been focusing on YouTube. I've had some really cool YouTube successes and cool things that are happening for me. So YouTube is hosting an event here in Halifax where I live, which just feels like so wild because nobody ever thinks of us. And it's really cool because I got an invite to it, and it's invite only. So I get to do that, and I get to meet some really famous YouTubers and also do some networking and take some workshops and see how I can improve my channel. The other thing is I signed up for and got approved for a Women of YouTube mentorship program, which will see me being mentored by a YouTuber who has 16 million followers and is like COO of her own company and 250 brand deals and all these other things, and she's mentoring me for the next 3 months. So that is really cool too. We hit 500,000 subscribers back in November, and things have kind of slowed down, and I think that's because I'm really trying to reconnect with my base audience again of people who want to learn about this and are interested in the background, whereas the stuff that was making me viral is just these cute, 10-second shorts that are behind the scenes, and that's great. I can keep doing those, and people all over the world really enjoy them, whether they speak English or not, but the kind of stuff I'm doing right here is really geared towards English folks. YouTube is getting some AI interfacing to help with translation so that people who don't speak English can learn more about what we're doing, so that would be kind of cool. Anyway, that's just what things are right now, and this is nearly a 10-minute video, so I'm just going to sign off. But thank you so much for checking me out. Please like and subscribe. We have a lot of awesome content coming your way, and I'm really excited, so best fishes. I feel like it's cheating when we have a team.